Pruitt. I hope everybody's doing well. I know this is short notice, but I thought I would go live just on a short notice. So welcome. Today is Thursday, January the 23rd, 2025, and the time is 1:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So happy 1:11. 11 is a portal. It's like a doorway. You're going out with the old and in with the new. So welcome. It is cold outside here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's about 30 degrees, I think. Oh no, it looks like the temperature is going up to 40, just reached 40. So I'm excited about that. Welcome, check-in family. I just wanted to report that a lot of things are going on behind the scenes. And I've been reporting about how NASARA is evident and how the National Economic Security and Reformation Act is actually playing out in our reality. Some people can see it and some cannot. I also have been reporting about how gold is now being returned to being used as money. 46 states now have repealed the taxes from the sales of precious metals, which means that 46 states have reclaimed gold and silver as money. New Jersey was the latest state. It was just announced, okay, January the 1st actually is when they silently made New Jersey the 46th state to reclaim silver and gold as money. So that means that almost all the states are in alignment with our republic and the Constitution for our republic that says only gold and silver can be used as money. Family, the signs are there. It's evident that things are changing, but I do want to bring it to your attention that we are experiencing two timelines. There are some people that are telling me, I don't see anything happening. Nothing's happening in my reality. No, I don't see any NASARA. You guys are lying and I'm tired of hearing it. And my response is, if you don't see a change, create the change, because we've been so dependent on the government and so dependent on Hollywood actors and different personalities and influencers to tell us what to do, how to vote, how to think, what to think, that we've gotten somewhat complacent. And when you become complacent, you become complicit in your own enslavement. And that is a choice. You can choose to look at things as never changing and being so dismal and bad, or you can choose to look at things as being beautiful, as being a new reality in which we're going. You can choose to see the gold in new reality and or create that. So faith without works is dead. A lot of people will put faith and trust into the new administration, into a presidency and a government. And I do have some hopes that they'll do what they say they're going to do. But we have to also put some work and effort into the reality that we desire to create. So I woke up this morning and I got a text from one of our supporters. I don't like to call people followers, but one of our supporters. And he said, this is a great day for you, Kia. Gold just reached a new all-time high. It is now $2,741. What that means is that the dollar is declining in value. So I know people have been passing around that ruling, which they said is fake. They've come to realize it's fake. Moore versus Alliant Credit Union. And it said that the Supreme Court looked over that, heard that case, and determined that fiat is not a real monetary system and fiat is not real money. Well, some people are upset because they found out that that is allegedly not a real ruling. And I'm saying, does it matter? It shouldn't matter if it's a real ruling or not, because you and I have the power actually to start making purchases or purchases locally anyway, because 46 states passed legislation to use silver and gold to purchase local goods and services. When is change going to happen? When you change it, when I change it, when we start making purchases with silver and gold. It's that simple. I started, slowly, little at a time, just, doing certain things with silver, making certain decisions, using little silver coins. And thank you, Hugo. I love you. Thank you for sending me the information about gold reaching a new all-time high. It will happen when we actually make it happen. Okay. So gold just reached a new all-time high of $2,741. Again, that means that the dollar has decreased in value. It is a basic, I'm sorry about that. I got a phone It is a basic economic principle that as the dollar loses value, silver and gold increase in value. So that's why we see gold going up in value. Also, we know that many people were put in place to suppress the value of gold and silver. They were keeping the value or the prices down so that you and I wouldn't know that gold and silver are no longer viewed as a commodity, like a collector or a collectible. Gold and silver are now viewed as money, not only here in America with the 46 states passing legislation to repeal or remove the state taxes from the sales of precious metals, but also you have the BRICS bloc and the Shanghai Corporation all deciding and making moves to stop trading with the dollar and using their own local currency to purchase goods and services. So if you are on the same timeline as I and you are working or operating from an abundance mentality, that means you have a positive mindset. That means you know that there is an abundance of wealth, an abundance of resources here on the planet for we the people, and you know that you will be able to access those resources, then you actually start to look for change and create change. But if you choose not to operate from an abundant mentality and you operate from a lack or a poverty mentality, then you would tell yourself there's not enough. Change is never going to happen. We have no power. The government's not going to do anything for us. You see what I mean? Or I had faith in the government and now I'm just giving up all hope. And you have a right to think from that place. We all have a right, right? A God-given right to either be positive and have an abundance mentality, or to think on the other side and have a scarcity mentality. And whatever it is that you choose, whichever frame of mind you choose to come from and live your life, is what you will experience. Because whatever you think about and focus on is what you will manifest. Whatever you think about and focus on is what multiplies. So a lot of people are wondering, what should we do? President Trump just said something about putting billions of dollars into AI and maybe some type of mRNA shot. I haven't really had the time to dig deep into that, but I said, okay, if he does, what does that mean for you? You have the choice to decide what you're going to let in your body. I have the choice to decide what I'm going to put in my body. So we can all judge whether or not that's good or bad, but what's more important is what you're going to do. They already did these whole shifting of things during the CV. And they started introducing certain things you're supposed to put in your body, right? Some people chose to take it and they felt like they were forced. But here's the thing, whatever is mandatory is not law. It only becomes law to you when you comply. You can decide to comply with rules and regulations, or you can decide to reject them and say, I do not consent. So who cares for real, like what a leader does? I mean, I care to an extent, especially when I support the conservative movement. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to choose my body and my mind and my righteous decisions for me, myself, and my family. So whether a president, a leader, a governing body makes a decision that's against us or not, or one for us, really, at the end of the day, what matters is what you choose, what I choose. So I see change happening for the better of mankind. Even if we had AI, I would use it to my benefit. That's just the way I operate. I would use it to my good. But if there was something that I felt was damaging to my body, I wouldn't do it. Now, sometimes people that are in political positions play war games. Okay, you have to read the Art of War manual. Sometimes you have to make people think that you're stupid in order to actually pull the trigger on certain things. So that's one way people do things that are in power. They'll play along like they're dumb, like, oh yeah, I don't know the benefits, I don't know the drawbacks of this, so I'm just going to agree to participate in that plan. And then once they make you think they're dumb, then they'll do something else. And then another law of war tactic is actually to bring your enemies close to you and say, yep, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with you. And then you take them down systematically. So I don't know what the plan is for those people that are in power, but I want to keep my eye on them while I also create the reality that I desire to see in the world. So even during the CV and the whole shutdown, you had some people that took the mandate as serious and they went along with it. And some people said, well, I could lose my job. And then there were some people that said, I'm not going to lose my job. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a remedy or a way around this. So what they did is they got an exemption, a religious exemption, and they wrote their own letters, or they had a pastor friend or somebody in their family to write the letter for them. And many of them were able to use that letter, excuse me, to circumvent the rules. And then there were some people that said, fire me. Thank you for the Cash App blessing, Cameron. You've really been blessing me a lot lately. God bless you. Heaven smile on you is my prayer. Thank you. So some people said, you can take my job, okay? But I'm still going to be okay because I am not going to take. Have a choice. You have your own mind, your own way of thinking. Here's another phone call. It's my mom. You have the ability to create the decision that you want for you and your family. Somebody said nothing's ever going to change. They were on my Facebook page. The IRS is never going to go down. Why isn't it? Okay, legislation has already been passed I mean, not passed, but put forward to remove the IRS. But if they're not working fast enough, the 10th Amendment of the Constitution actually says that local governments and local communities have more power than the federal government. It goes on to state that the federal government only has power that the people give it. So if you want to see change, do it at the local level. And if you don't want to pay the IRS, don't pay them. I mean, like, who's forcing you? Is anybody putting a gun to your head? Like, I don't understand. And if you don't feel confident enough to stop paying taxes, which are voluntary, by the way, then you could just ask them to put off the payment, the time to pay, the taxes, or you can appeal, or you can tell them that due to the economic conditions and predicament, you are unable to pay the taxes, so forgive the tax debt. I mean, at least try it. So if you don't want the IRS to collect your money, don't pay them. If you don't like the foods that they're feeding you, grow your own. If we don't like the way the schools are operating, teach your own. If we don't like the laws that are being passed, operate at the state level and pass them. If you don't like where you're living, move. If you don't like the home that you have, go get another one. If you're struggling by yourself, put your money with the money in your family or people that are like-minded and go buy land and build a homestead in a community, a compound. So the complaining at some point has to stop, because what people in power do is they will give you social media so that you can medicate yourself and stay so busy and so distracted with all this information and all this entertainment that you're not focusing on how you can make your life better. You'll just sit on your laurels and wait for the government. But the government is not the government is not your husband. The government is not your savior. You are the savior for whom you've been looking. You are the leader for whom you've been looking. We spend a lot of time looking outside of ourselves for leaders, and I'm all for leaders. I'm a leader as well. But sometimes we spend so much energy looking outside of ourselves for a leader that we forget the leader that's within. Okay, so anything we don't like, just don't do it. Do not consent. There's always a way around things. If you don't have it in your budget to get gold, since gold is going up, it's now $2,700 and what did we say, $41 per ounce? Then there are gold Arum notes or gold backs that are as little as $2.62. And that is real, not 0.999 pure gold, 14 karat ounce gold, and some of them are 24 karat ounce gold pressed onto a note that has been passed by legislature, and deemed as legal tender, whereby you can buy local goods and services with these gold backs and with silver coins, silver bullion, constitutional silver, junk silver. Okay, and if big merchants won't accept it, try with the local merchants. Try with bartering with each other. There's a way around anything that they do. Everything that they do. There is always a ram in the bush, family. But some people would choose to stay in the third dimension, and they will choose to continue to complain and to look for a savior outside of themselves and whine, moan, and complain when the savior doesn't do what they want them to do. And they will stay stuck in that position. And then there are others who will say, I'm going to ascend in consciousness. I'm going to depend on the God within or source and my highest self and myself, my gifts, my skills, and my abilities, and I'm going to put that together with my family members and or my community, and I'm going to build what I want to create. Okay, those people are moving to the fourth and fifth dimension. And because we come from an abundance mindset and we see everything as working on our favor and working on our behalf, and we know that there is an abundance of resources for everybody to enjoy, and we know that the creator or source has our best interest at heart, and we know that we have our own best interest at heart, we look for all the good information and we receive all the good information and the good news. And even when we see bad news, we see the opportunity within the bad news. Everything's about perspective. How did you choose to show up in the world? How do you choose to see things? Okay. How do you choose to see whatever happens in your life, in your reality? So that's why I said there are two timelines. The same thing happened during the global shutdown. Some people said, I can't make it. This is too much. This is too bad. I'm just going to wait on the government to give me a stimulus check. And even when they do give it to me, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of stuff to medicate myself and make myself feel good. In the meantime, I'm going to complain on social media. And then you had other people that said, you know what? I'm not working now. This is a great opportunity for me to use my gifts, my skills, my talents, and my abilities. And some people use social media to express themselves or to teach, to educate about finances, about geopolitics, about how to create change, about how to garden, how to paint and create beautiful art, how to educate your children. People took that as an opportunity to use their gifts, skills, and abilities to help other people by actually helping themselves as well. And then what they notice is that they receive money for those services. And at some point, they got even more money than when they were working for somebody else. Some people chose to stay home, since they were home anyway, to do hair for other people in exchange for babysitting services, or in exchange for a meal, or in exchange for another service, or getting their car maintained. So you can always barter. You can always just look for opportunities and create the job that you've always wanted to create. So you don't have to do it all by yourself. You can align yourself with family members. I've said this before. If you have 5 people in your family and everybody's paying $1,500 for rent, why can't you just have one house and live together, put your money together, and then you have enough money to do what you want to do? And if everybody is not able to live under one roof, why not put your money together or your resources together and buy some land and then maybe create a compound? Or if it's not enough people in your family, do it with people in your community. Somebody will always come up with a reason why they can't. But what can you do? Instead of saying, I can't, why not ask yourself, how can I? Because the moment you make up your mind, the universe conspires to assist you. And the moment you ask yourself, how can I? Opportunities start to open up for you and you get to see them. And then you will utilize those opportunities. So there are 2 timelines. Okay, some people will choose to stay, and that's their choice. Some people would choose to go into the new golden reality, and I'm on my way up. So if I start to push back from social media, it's because I'm creating the change that I desire to see. And I've been doing that to some extent, but now I'm moving fast forward, steam ahead. I know that the currencies will revalue. I know, and I can see that gold and silver are revaluing. Okay. I know that laws have been passed to actually bring about change and make gold and silver lawful tender or lawful money. And that for me lets me know that the republic is being restored. I see the Supreme Court of the United States overturning the Chevron doctrine, which now says that all these federal agencies have to be dismantled because they're unconstitutional and treasonous. So my question is, why is it that we expect change to happen overnight? It took thousands of years to get all this to happen, and thousands of years for us to be enslaved. Change doesn't happen overnight unless you change it. Change doesn't happen tomorrow unless you exert your energy to create it. Okay, people are going to operate on their own timeline, number one. And number 2, it takes time. So if you have a president in place or political leaders in place, sometimes they get compromised. Sometimes they have to wait. They have to, do deals and bargains. Sometimes they have to just let it be a systematic rollout because they're going to try to benefit themselves in some way first and their family members. And they could have another agenda. But at the end of the day, you are You are responsible for your own self. I am responsible for my own self. We are a family. So if we want to see the system collapse, then collapse it by saying, I do not consent. Okay, by choosing a way to operate outside of it, whether you get a private trust, and we've had Chief Mack on here to talk about how you can operate outside the system, or whether you just say, you know what, I want to stop. I'm going to stop. I know there are ramifications for if you don't pay your bills, and there are perceived ramifications if you don't pay taxes, but how long are we going to stay in fear? Like, at some point, we're going to all have to come together and make some decisions, at least for our family members. So again, communities have more power than the federal government. The federal government, first of all, is defunct. It's unconstitutional, unlawful, defunct, insolvent, and bankrupt. So that shouldn't even be a fear. When my daughter was talking to the IRS the other day, I had her to ask the IRS representative why it took them so long for us to contact them, and how come they never got back in contact with us. They wanted to work around, go around the mulberry bush. And I said, daughter, be a little more direct and ask her, is it true that the duties of the IRS have been put under the United States Treasury Department? Because I wanted her to see that the things I've been saying are correct. And the representative for the IRS said, yes, it's true. The duties of the IRS have been put underneath the the United States Treasury Department, because they are the ones that are in control of money. The IRS has no power and no authority over anybody's money. So any problems or issues or concerns that you have, you need to write the United States Treasury Department. And I said, daughter, I've been telling you guys this. You can write a letter to the IRS, but you also need to send a letter to the United States Treasury Department. So if anybody is here and you desire not to pay your taxes, write a letter to the IRS and the United States Treasury Department and let them know that you are experiencing financial hardships and you need that debt to be forgiven. Or you can ask them to push off the date and just keep pushing it back as much as you can. But you always want to communicate with the United States Treasury Department. Now, I will wrap it up by saying, my son had the IRS to take away one of his, what do you call it, taxes you were supposed to receive back. You know how you get the, I can't remember what it's called when you file taxes and you get that money back. So he was supposed to get like $10,000, but because he owed a student loan company, the IRS took that $10,000 away from him. And so I said, write the IRS and the United States Treasury Department and tell them that you are not able to pay for this debt that you have, that because of the global pandemic that you experienced, you are having financial problems and you need your money to be returned back to you. Do you not know that within 30 days, all $10,000 were returned back to him? So there's always a ram in the bush, but you have to be courageous, and you have to do something. You have to actually get up off of our laurels and stand on our feet and do something, because it's not the responsibility of anybody to take care of us. We have to know that we have power within ourselves. We are sovereign. We've just been conditioned to think that we're slaves and we're citizens and we have to do what we're told. But we don't have to always follow the directions of people, especially if they don't have our best interest at heart. So all I'm here to say, it's cold here, babies, family, is create the change that you desire to see. Okay, you are the leader for whom you've been searching. You are the change maker for whom you've been looking. Show up and show out. So I hope I've said something to encourage you. Things are moving on our behalf, okay? Things are working behind the scenes, but we have to sometimes step forward and push things along, especially in our personal lives. Why would you wait for somebody to educate your children? Why are we waiting for somebody to say what's going to happen with the food when we can actually grow food? You don't even have to do it in the dirt anymore. You can do some food growing in your home. We can support local farmers. Why are we waiting for somebody to inject trillions of dollars into the global economy before we help somebody. Start a humanitarian project right now. Help yourself, help your family, get your elderly people that you can take care of out of the nursing home, take care of them, get the family members that are struggling and help them, get the person down the street who needs their car maintained and fix their car in exchange for something that they can do for you. Like, we don't have to wait. You don't have to be rich to create change. And that's the thing that we've been doing, waiting on the sorrow, waiting on money. Oh, I want to do this humanitarian project. Well, why not create the change that we desire to see right now in our personal lives? It can happen, the change that we're looking, when we get off of our behinds and do it. So I hope I was positive and I didn't say anything too offensive, but I keep having people come to me and message me and ask me, what are we going to do about this? And what are we going to do about what the president said? Or what are we going to do about Nasara? Nasara hasn't happened already. And President Trump is the president. Well, it's only been 3 days. Sure, people were hoping things would happen on the first day, but it's only been 3 days. If you want to see something happen sooner, then we just have to do it ourselves. What I recommend we do about dollars: buy silver, gold. I would say, you want to pay your bills if that's valuable to you with dollars, and you only invest in what you overstand. So do your research and what you can afford. So if you have extra fiat dollars that is not budgeted for anything, that you need, then yes, it may be a good idea to get silver and gold. And if you're interested in the future, like passing something down for your posterity, meaning your future generations, you might also consider investing in foreign currencies, because as I've stated many times before, the banks met globally last summer to make sure they were prepared for foreign currency exchanges, because according to the articles, these banks need your foreign assets or foreign reserves in order to maintain the health of the banks and to keep them safe from bankruptcy possibilities. So they need your money, and they met globally to ensure that they're ready and that they're prepared. Banks also became Basel III compliant, meaning they had to recognize gold as a tier 1 asset so that they can have this protection that they need, the banks need, or wealth management centers need. So tier 1 asset, gold, recognizing gold as a tier 1 asset means that gold is now viewed as money and not a commodity. And the second part of Basel III compliance, was being prepared to receive tier 2 assets, which are your foreign reserves. So now that we know that those banks are ready, we know that it is a real it's going to happen very soon. So yes, if you have the extra money, you may consider investing in foreign currencies like the Iraqi dinar, Vietnamese dong, Venezuelan bolivar, Indonesian rupiah, Indian rupee, and the Afghanistani currency, the Afghani. So, and there are others as well. And people in the chat will let you know what you should get and where you can get it from. But you want to make sure you have enough money to live, like to eat, to take care of your immediate needs, and to take care of the people within your household of utmost importance. And that should be a priority. And then again, what you have left over, consider investments. And some people are investing in digital coins as well. And if you're concerned about that, then there are wallets that you can use with a password and a code to protect those digital assets. And then once it reaches a certain level, you may want to consider taking those digital assets and putting it into a hard asset like silver, gold, a business, or a home or land or something like that. So that was an excellent question. What do you believe becomes your reality? Absolutely. Absolutely. System payments that will ensure, I can't read that. Warning, system permanent ban will ensure, I can't read what you're saying, my darling. Something's going to happen within 2 minutes. Oh, I think that's a warning is that a warning from YouTube? Why does the government owe me anything? Absolutely. The government doesn't owe us anything. Government, to govern is to control. Ment is the mind. To control the mind. Menche or mentality, they controlled your mind and they controlled your life by actually having these rules, statutes, codes, and policies that were against you. No longer should we be depending upon them. if they're good and they do good for we the people, wonderful. But if they're bad and they do bad for we the people, that's a bad thing. And that's why we have to, start depending on ourselves. If you haven't already, I know our soul family, we take the initiative to do what we need to do. But all I'm saying is things take time. If you put your life and your future in the hands of somebody else, it's going to take time because they have other agendas that they have to take care of, because they have deals they have to do, because, life happens, and because, they just might not think it's a pressing matter. Whatever the case may be, it takes time. However, anything you want to see change and I want to see change, we have to change it. So I'm just looking to see if you have any questions. I haven't worried about taxes. I know I haven't worried about paying taxes. I haven't paid taxes in years, maybe even over a decade. Paying taxes are voluntary. So family, I'm going to get off here because my mom is trying to reach me and I need to talk to my mom. I hope everybody is encouraged. Just know, family, that you do have power within you. Look for, if you want to operate at the local level, maybe you can operate in a city council or at the state level, because again, the local communities have more power than the federal government. But if you're saying, those people are corrupt too, and maybe they don't have your best interest at heart, then start something within your own community. And let me tell you, a healthy, thriving society is built upon healthy, thriving communities. Healthy, thriving communities are built upon healthy, thriving families. Healthy, thriving families are built upon healthy, thriving you. So if you want to see the society thrive, then it starts with you and me. This is why they systematically tried to pit the woman against the man and simultaneously destroy the family. Because if they can destroy your mentality and my mentality and get men and women fighting against each other, genders fighting against each other, religious people fighting against, different factions of religions, people fighting on both sides or against both sides when it comes to political affiliation. If we're all fighting and arguing with each other, we're not focusing on building up ourselves and our families and our communities. So change, again, starts with you and me. Let's get, busy about our business. They say be busy about your father's business. Be busy about your business and doing what's in the best interest of you and your family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve, because you are amazing and you're the savior for whom you've been searching. I love you, family. Go out and make this a great day. Mwah. Peace. Bye-bye.